Yes, guys, we are live. Wasn't 100% sure if we were or not. Yes, another big win. Fantastic to see. Really starts to push us up that league table. Certainly finding ourselves in positions, league-wise, where we certainly can be pushing for that top four spot. Certainly for me, it's a case that every week we are seeing different elements to this United side. We're seeing different progressions. What we aren't seeing, what we have been seeing before, is a greater adoption of Ten Hag's style, of the philosophy, of that Dutch style play, the possession, the pressing. Today we saw something different. Today we saw grit, we saw determination. We got the first goal. I thought it would be a case that we would go on to win the match fairly comfortably, with West Ham struggling to score goals, and us having got that goal, we could have dragged them out of their low block into places and areas where they didn't want to go. But that didn't happen. West Ham stayed in the game. They stayed tight, and they did very well. Certainly they played better than I thought they would have. I do really hate playing this team. Like, I mean, they are, I'm not going to say anti-football, but it is like a style of football we don't really see too much in the Premier League now, especially with the likes of Sean Dyche being gone from the league. But, I mean, yeah, West Ham, it's always a very tough game to play. Certainly, they don't concede a lot of goals. They don't concede a lot of chances. Now, they don't score a lot, but they are where they are in the league because they're able to get 1-0 wins, pick up draws, and just generally be a hard team to play. They got to the semi-finals of the Europa League last season playing that brand of football. It is effective. It isn't pretty, but it works, and they're very happy doing it. I thought for most of the match we looked very comfortable playing out of the back, something of course which we haven't always had that at United, but certainly today we looked quite comfortable. That was until maybe the 70th minute when we began to sit back to hold what we had, but it was certainly a case that we weren't holding on to the ball well enough for the last 20 minutes. We just kept inviting West Ham onto us. David De Gea with some fantastic saves today certainly really helped us out. As well, Diogo Dalot was absolutely exceptional. I thought certainly his best performance of the season. He is our most improved player this season by some distance. He is a player who really is coming on to his own in Erik ten Hag's team. The level of play we're seeing from Dalot is absolutely fantastic. Before, he always had his doubts and his limitations, certainly in a defensive sense. I think we didn't really see that too much today. Certainly defended his back post really, really well, something which I am very happy to see. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has been guilty of leaving that back post unattended, for want of a better word, for far too long, but certainly it's a case that Diogo Dalot has done very well. I'm very happy to see that he has started to turn into the player Jose Mourinho thought he had. Certainly for us, Diogo Dalot hasn't always been exceptional. He hasn't always been brilliant, but I mean, the more he plays this season and the more development we're seeing from him under Erik ten Hag, the better. I'm really happy to see it, because we have such little depth at fullback that we need our fullbacks to play well. Lucky for us, Luke Shaw was very good today. Of course, Diogo Dalot, absolute man of the match performance. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for me. Really was excellent. Very good to see. I think certainly we are building towards something at Manchester United. It is something that feels a bit different this time, for want of a better word. I know we've had so many false dawns where we thought we were starting to get there, but under to Erik ten Hag, there is something about this team that just works. It just clicks on the pitch. We're seeing players fighting for each other who last season were backstabbing each other and fighting with each other instead of fighting for each other. It certainly is a really big turnaround at the club. Something really good to see. And yeah, I mean, nothing but positive. Nothing but a positive for us. Certainly, if we look at the stats for today, we can see that it wasn't wasn't a classic match for Eric Ten Hag's side. 53% possession, a lot lower than what we've had in recent weeks. A lot of fouls today, of course. Didn't have a lot of shots on target. And yeah, only the one goal, but what a goal. Marcus Rashford, 100 club goals, absolutely fantastic. He's really seemed to have turned it around this season. We've seen Marcus Rashford go out and he's played with a fight that he lacked last season. He didn't have this desire, he didn't have this ability seemingly to find the back of the net, and it's just good. It's good for us to see. It's good for him to be putting the ball in the back of the net. Nothing but great for his confidence. We have a lack of goal scoring options at the minute, and Marcus Rashford is our main threat, so it's good to see him scoring goals, keeping up that scoring record. Something that I think is very important that we're seeing as well, and it is great to see, is Rashford beginning to be able to head the ball. It was always a weak point of his game, always something that he wasn't quite 100% with. We've seen it so many times where great chances and great crosses we made to the back post, but Rashford hasn't been able to capitalise on it. Certainly this time Marcus Rashford has, and that's 2 headers in 2 games. Puts on 7 goals for the season, 3 assists, absolutely fantastic. We were a bit light up front today. Anthony Elanga didn't have a particularly good match for me. But he did his job. He was on the pitch for a reason, and yeah, I don't think he did too bad, but obviously could have been a lot better. I wouldn't mind seeing Garnacho play. I think Garnacho certainly would have had more to offer in an attacking sense than Anthony Elanga, especially today against a low block. Anthony Elanga does need that space to kind of run into, use his explosive speed, his strength to beat his men. Ronaldo had a fairly disappointing game, all things considered. He had a couple of chances where he really snatched at them. A bit more composure, a bit more awareness really from Ronaldo, which isn't something we were usually saying, and perhaps he finds himself with a goal to his name. But certainly for me, it was a fairly alright performance from Ronaldo. He actually offered more defensively, I thought, certainly with clearing the ball out from corners. His heading ability, of course, is fantastic, as we know, but not too much from the offense. Same with Bruno Fernandes, offered a lot more going back, tracking back, making tackles than he did going forward. It's been an alright season for Bruno Fernandes, I think. He has made a lot of chances, perhaps with some better finishing. We'll be talking about him as being bang in form, but there has been a lack of assists in his game this season, and that is more the fault of the forward line. But to me, certainly very positive, very good to see us start to pick up these types of wins. We are now on 23 points for the season. I think that's very, very positive. We found ourselves 1 point off Newcastle in 4th, 3 points off Spurs in 3rd, and we have a game in hand. So with that game in hand, we could leapfrog both sides. We only found ourselves 6 points off City as well, for as good as they've been. We're actually 8 points off Arsenal as well. Arsenal looking very good, very consistent all season, and for us to be up there is nothing but a positive. We moved clear of Chelsea by 2 points. We found ourselves 7 points behind Liverpool. I mean, for the best team in the world, the best team ever, Manchester United are ahead of them again, and during their best ever period with their best ever team, with the best ever manager and the best ever players, Manchester United finished above them 40% of the time. So the worst United side in Premier League history finishing above the so-called best team in the history of football. It just says a lot, really. But yeah, it's good for us to be well clear of that mid-table club, and we are certainly moving up that league table, and it's good to see. Up next, of course, is Unai Emery's Aston Villa. It'll be their first match under Emery, so there isn't an awful lot to go off tactically. What he's been doing with Villa, of course, he'll have been working with him this week. Unai Emery, fairly negative football. It's not a manager I enjoy coming up against. But yeah, I'm sure Eric Ten Hag will have a plan for him and his Aston Villa side. But yeah, I mean, it'll be a difficult match. They'll have their new managers bounce. They played very well after sacking Steven Gerrard. It's always the way, man. It really frustrates me. Teams typically play better after they sack a manager, because they've literally stopped trying. We didn't really see it last year with United and Ralph Rangnick, of course, but I mean, yeah, we'll see what Villa can do. But yeah, 11 wins out of the last 15, very positive for me. Very good. We've certainly turned a corner form wise. Our defence is absolutely fantastic. 5 straight home clean sheets. We're really starting to put together a solid defensive unit that helps us to build performances, because last season we wouldn't have won this match, we would have conceded, and that could be the same for other matches as well this season. We are able to see out 1-0s or 2-1s. We can sit back and hold teams out, and it's a very useful asset to have up your sleeve. Certainly, something we have been lacking for a long time. If we can find ourselves putting the ball in the back of the net more often at the other end, we are on for a really good season. I think if we're allowed to bring in players in January, possibly a striker, possibly another forward option. There was talk of PSV having to sell Cody Gakpo for 26 million. We should be absolutely all over that. Ten Hag has predominantly played Rashford through the middle. There is a space on that left for Cody Gakpo. Gakpo, Anthony, Rashford could be a very potent forward line going into the latter stages of the season. And yeah, I mean, let's just see what happens. I think going forward we need to improve. Going back to the defence, I don't think there's much improvement we can really make there. I think outside of perhaps upgrading our goalkeeping options, they have great saves as always, but upgrading our distribution from the back will only help us as a football club. I think we certainly look a lot better with Raphael Varane in the team. Not that Harry Maguire played bad today, but it's certainly just his I just don't think he's that suited to playing in a high-line system, and that's no slight in his own, because he is a good footballer, he is a good defender. I'm not sitting here trying to say Harry Maguire can't play football. He obviously can, it's just he is not the best player in terms of playing in that high line where he has to cover the wide spaces for Dalot. And yeah, I mean, it's just one of those, like, certainly in possession Maguire can be good, but I think that he does need to improve if he is to stay at the club. A lot of his diagonals today didn't come off. It was a bit frustrating at times. He does take too many touches. I think Martinez is a proper ball playing centre back. Harry Maguire can play the ball sometimes, but he isn't as good as Lisandro Martinez. You know, honestly, like, I remember saying to my friends, like, that Martinez would be the best ball playing centre back arguably in European football, and people didn't agree with me then. I think that perhaps I was right on that there one. I think Lisandro Martinez has been absolutely fantastic for us this season. Great player, great ball playing, and yeah, I mean, doesn't get much better than Lisandro Martinez this season, and especially today he was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much just wraps it up, really. Just a short review, short talk about the match. Yeah, another big 3 points, another win, happy days. It's good to see us moving up that league table, and bring on Aston Villa next week in the Premier League. Before then, of course, we will be playing Real Sociedad with a chance to win the Europa League group, which will be very good for us. Saves us an extra couple of matches around Christmas, puts us straight into the round of 16. From there, we could be 3 matches away from the final, so important we win, put a couple of goals past Sociedad, go into the World Cup in as best form as possible, and let's just hope for no injuries, no drops of form during the World Cup, and let's hope that Manchester United have a very good end of the season. So far, very good. I'm going to score the season probably like a 7 out of 10 at the minute. Definitely turning corners, making progress, and it's great to see. But we just need to continue, and we continue by being consistent, by working hard, and following Eric Ten Hag's principles. That is how we be successful as a side this season, and yeah, we do that. I'm sure we'll be bang on for a top 4 finish and competing for silverware this season, which is fantastic in a first season for Eric Ten Hag. So yeah, guys, just as always, if you are new, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. This has been just a wee quick live talking about the match. I'll see you during the week. We're going to have a scouting report out on Tuesday. There'll be a further analysis of this match, and among other things, tomorrow the preview for Sociedad will be out on Wednesday, and the review and the live talking about the match, of course, afterwards live will be on Thursday. So yes, guys, I will see you then. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye. And yes.